Can you hear me? Is it good? Okay. I'm actually on loan from the Department of Neighborhoods. I was the general manager for 5 years, and now I'm directing the 2020 census campaign for the city of Detroit. So I'm very excited because the census is an awesome responsibility. I think I'm going to go over here. It seems safer. All right. So, I hope I know how to work this. Every clicker is different. So we're going like that. Okay, got it. All right. All right. Is that good? All right. So I want to start out with, do people generally know what the census is? You know what the census is? All right. So every 10 years it comes. This year it's going to be pretty different than what you're used to. And we'll get into that a little bit. This is going to be the first online census. And Bridgette will talk a little bit about how it's going to work and how you can apply for jobs and what kind of jobs are out there. But so for folks who don't have internet, which is about 50% of the city of Detroit doesn't have an internet subscription, it's going to be a challenge. But it's not going to be the only way that you're going to be able to fill out the census. There still will be paper forms, and you can actually be able to call and fill out the census online. But so this is our logo. We just got it finished. So our theme is Be Kind of Detroit. All right, Be Kind of Detroit 2020. So there's a real sense of urgency about this census because 10 years ago, as you can see, you can't maybe see great. But in 2000, we had 70% of the people in Detroit responded to the census. In 2010, it went down to 64%. So we had the biggest decline in the number of people who responded of any large city in the country.
No idea what that is.
All right, I can like shout rather than get freaked out by okay, we're going to try this once more. If it happens again, I'm putting this thing down, okay? All right. So, you can see there, we went from 70% to 64%. That amounted to thousands of people that weren't... Okay. I'm disconnecting this, all right? Okay. All right, so that's where we were. So we want to flip that script, basically. We spent no money. We didn't really have an operation. And Detroit was like on the verge of bankruptcy. People were moving out because of the foreclosure crisis, all that stuff. So we're in a different place now. But we can't like say, oh, we're in a different place, therefore we're going to get more people to respond. We're going to do it right. So I just wanted to let you know, like for Detroit and Michigan, what's at stake when you fill out the census form? Because people just think, well, this is my civic duty. It's a lot more than just your civic duty, right? Yeah. So if you care about education, so Michigan schools get $1.1 billion of money for special ed, Title I grants, Head Start, all based on census numbers, right? So for every person that fills out the census, we get a portion of that money for education. Healthcare is the biggest chunk of money that we get based on census numbers. Medicaid and Medicare are directly based on our census count, right? So we get, just in Detroit, about $2 billion a year for Medicare Part B and Medicaid. You see that there's billions of dollars at stake when you fill out that form and count people in your household. Food assistance is another thing. WIC, food stamps, school lunches, they're all based on the census count, right? In Michigan, we get over $2.5 billion a year for those programs. Finally, roads. About $1 billion comes into the state of Michigan for road construction. The less we fill out, the fewer people that fill out that form, the money goes to other states, right? So that's why it's so important. Now this is District 1. Just a couple of facts about District 1. There's about 40 census tracts in District 1. And a census tract is about a 40-block area, 40 to 50 blocks, right? So so you can see there's about 40 blocks. These darker colored areas are what the Census Bureau considers hard to count areas. That's areas that have concentration of poor folks, or people that don't have the internet, or there's other populations like young adults are very difficult to count because a lot of times they're renters, they rent a lot. So all of those factors go into what the Census Bureau gives as a score for a hard to count area. So there's a lot of different factors that go into it. We're going to be putting all of these maps on our website for the census. So you'll be able to click on a particular area, your tract. This is Census Tract. This is Census Tract 5410. It's the Holcomb area. You'll be able to get all that information about that tract. Has the population gone up based on Census Bureau estimates over the last 5 or 6 years? How many hard to count people? How many kids under 5? That's a really hard to count population. Because people think that somehow if there are babies in their households, they don't count. Listen, whether you're a baby or a senior, you have to be counted. Whether you live under a bridge or you live in a 4-bedroom home, you are going to be counted. If you're in prison or in a college dormitory, you have to be counted. The standard is wherever you're living or sleeping regularly, on April 1st, 2020, that's where you're counted, right? All right. So how is the city of Detroit going after this, right? So from now until about February of next year, we're going to be on a really aggressive campaign to educate and motivate people, right? And that's where you guys come in. And we'll have all this on our website as of April 1. And I'll talk about April 1 in a second. So how can you get involved in District 1, right? Well, we're going to be taking this to the streets, right? We're going to be going to block clubs, community organizations, community development corporations, wherever we can to educate and motivate people about the census. The stuff I'm saying to you is the stuff we want to talk to block clubs and other organizations about and have them ask questions. A lot of people are afraid to fill out the census because they're afraid the information is going to get back to wherever, to the courts because they have to pay child support, or to the insurance company because you're using your parents' address in the suburbs, because you don't want to pay city income taxes or insurance. That's all the fears that people have. But the census information, and Bridgette will be talking about this, is by law, by federal law, it has to be confidential and can only be used for census statistical purposes. So it's not going to be shared with Border Patrol, it's not going to be shared with any company or any individual. In fact, the feds have a rule that for 72 years, you cannot share individual names and addresses. So if you ever go on to Ancestry.com, they have census information from the 40s and nothing more recent. That's because of that 72-year rule. All right. So what can you do, all right? Schedule a presentation. If you want us to come to your block club or community organization, let me know, let Erin Harris know. My email is the same, kovariv@detroitmi.com. And we can send this to .gov, I'm sorry. We can send this to Councilman Tate's office and he can get this out to you guys. The Community Foundation of Southeast Michigan has grants now available for small block clubs, nonprofits, for you to do local census work in District 1. They just opened up this request for proposals. It closes May 1. You can get anywhere from $5,000 to $30,000 to do local census work. All right? Census captains. The City of Detroit is going to assign a census captain for every one of the 297 census tracts in the City of Detroit. So we're going to touch all the tracts. Now we are going to prioritize certain tracts that have low responses. according to the Census Bureau. They don't expect, you know, a lot of people to respond. So we're gonna really be in those tracks. But we're gonna work in every track. So we're gonna need 40 census captains for District 1. And we want these folks who know that area, all right? So you can sign up to be a census captain after April 1 on the website. We're also gonna be taking volunteers, email, phone, whatever. Social media, if you're into social media, we need people blasting it out to their networks about how important it is for them to fill out the census, all right? We're looking for street outreach workers who can go to beauty salons and barber shops to talk to people there about how important it is, right? So we're going to be hiring door-to-door canvassers. So if you like going door-to-door, we're going to do paid canvassers. The census captains, we're raising money now to give every census captain a stipend, right? We're also looking at having a contest for block clubs, giving them like $500 gift certificates or gift cards for every block club that increases the census tract. All right, well, I'm wrapping up now. So you can be a paid door-to-door canvasser as well. And that you can be able to sign up online after April 1 for that. We're going to be doing sign-up events at health clinics or wherever. Once the census becomes live, mid-March 2020, so a year from now, it's going to be live, folks, right? And so we're going to be doing sign-up events, all this stuff, to get people to fill out the form. April 1st, 2020 is National Census Day, so we're going to be doing a whole bunch of events. Finally, you can sign up for a text message to get an update about what's going on in your district, too, on the census. And as soon as it starts, the Census Bureau is going to be sending us information about what the response is in a certain tract. So you're going to be able to get a text message to say, hey, in the Holcomb community, we're at 50%, and we got 3 weeks to go. Okay, we got to beat the bushes out there in Holcomb, right? Or Brightmoor, or Grandmont Rosedale, whatever. O'Hare Park, here you go. All right. So, finally, April 1 at Focus Hope, we are having a kickoff event. The mayor's going to be there, Councilperson Jones. We're inviting all the council people to join us on April 1st, 11 o'clock. We're going to have people doing little videos, so if you're a senior, you've got something to say. We're going to take little videos of folks. We're going to have a whole range of people from immigrant organizations, youth organizations, seniors, other nonprofits, to talk about how important the census is. So that's going to happen at Focus Hope, 11 a.m. Focus Hope is on Oakland, right? Near Linwood. So Focus Hope is a great place because they have a Head Start program that depends on the census. They have a huge food distribution program. So Focus Hope is exactly the kind of place that is really at risk when individuals don't sign and fill out those forms, right? So that's what I got. I don't know if we're taking questions or, yeah, we have time for questions?
No, not yet. We'll, the next speaker will.
Okay, all right. We're going to wait for the next speaker, all right? All right, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Good morning, everyone. Can everyone hear me okay? I apologize. I'm a little congested, but hopefully I'm clear enough for you to understand what I'm going to present today. I'm so excited to have so many people to come out and represent your district. This is an awesome thing to have the community to be participating. My name is...
That's how we do it.
That's right. You want it, right? Okay, I got it. My name is Bridgette Wyche-McGee. I am the partnership coordinator for the state of Michigan and also Indiana. Just a little bit about myself for you to understand. This is my 4th census. Now, you know I started when I was 1. And I've done 2 censuses here in Michigan. I did one in the southern part of the country in Atlanta. And then I just had to come back to Detroit. So I came back and did the partial of the 2010 census. And then I retired. I told you I started when I was running. I retired, went to U of M, and then I came back because I think the census is one of the most important things that we can participate to improve our country as well as definitely our community and state. Also, I want to introduce to you one of my co-workers. Her name is Vicki McClendon. She's our other partnership specialist. Currently, we have about 5 partnership specialists in the state of Michigan. We are hiring more partnership specialists. So I'm going to share the websites that you can go on and apply. But our partnership specialists, we're the individuals that are out in the community, sharing information about the census, partnering with stakeholders, trusted voices. I just want to commend the city of Detroit and Victoria Kovari, who have started our Complete Count Committee. They are very active, they're strong, as you can see in what she presented. You can see the city is moving forward and sharing that information, how important it is for you to complete that census. So our mission of the partnership program is to be strategic at the with national partners, and we're looking, we're looking to show that we are looking for those trusted voices. And you all play a very important part of that. And we want to make sure that we are sharing awareness and support for the 2020 census. The Complete Count Committee is the goal of the census, and that group basically supports the community, brings the community together. They pull those trusted voices to share the importance of the census. And our goal is in 2017, we had 384 complete counts. Our goal for this census, we want to have well over 10,000 complete count committees. That's on a national basis. But for the state of Michigan, we're looking to increase that. In the state of Michigan, we had about 584 complete count committees, and that was as of December of 2018. So we're moving towards that. We're looking at a goal of 2,500 through our region. Now, our region, right now, our regional director in Chicago, Ms. Marilyn A. Sanders, Chicago covers 8 states. Michigan is one of those states, okay? And so our goal is to have over 1,500 complete count committees for the state of Michigan. Now, some key components of our partnership program. One is we want to educate. We want to educate the community, and this is the period where the CCC leadership develops the mission and message of our members, and they identify how to bring awareness to the community. Then there is the awareness phase. Beginning in 2020, the government and community leaders throughout the nation participates in this activity, highlighting the message that the 2020 census is easy, important, confidential, and secure. The next phase is motivating. That phase starts March. This is where we are now. The goal is for every person living in the U.S. and here in Michigan encounter census messages in some form or fashion. You're going to start hearing and seeing a lot of census media coming out, PSAs, commercials, all type of media that will be promoting the census. There is a motivation phase, and this is the goal where every person will encounter some part or some form. And then the last phase, of course, is the reminder phase. We will be following up with households to ensure that they volunteer to participate in the census process. Must have went back. Go back. Keep going. Go back. Okay, we're good. Okay. So here's the key important point: recruitment. And this is where definitely you all can participate and get paid. As I briefly mentioned, there is a area census office. We have one office in Detroit. I want to take a moment to kind of highlight the management positions. There is a area census office manager. There is an administrative manager. There's an IT manager, a lead census field manager. And there are many recruitment managers, RAs, that are out in the field currently, but we're still hiring more of those positions as well. And then there's the census field manager. Now here are some key components of the operation. In May of 2018, we opened up the Census Regional Census Center in Chicago. We started our complete count committees starting in 2018. Currently, we are in wave 1 of opening up our area census offices, and the first 5 offices we are opening starts the in-field address canvassing operation, which also starts in mid-August of 2019. And that's the major operation that we're currently gearing up for. We have 4 other offices that are going to be opening up in the state. One will be in Oakland County, one will be in Midland. We have one in Macomb County, and I think the last one is Saginaw or Bay City in Lansing. Okay, let's talk a little bit about some of the supervisory positions, starting with recruiting assistants. They are tasked with promoting census jobs through making contacts with the general public. They deal and cooperate with our community-based organizations and churches and our workforce support organization. Next, we have our office operations supervisor. We call them OOS. They supervise the clerks in the office, and they support all the office and administrative functions, including administration, IT, infrastructure in the office, recruiting and field operations. They also work with a lot of the hiring and selection process of enumerators that we'll be hiring. Likewise, the clerk also support all the office operations as well as field operations as far as processing. We also have the CFSs, which we call the Census Field Supervisor, and they are the ones that train and supervise the enumerators in the field, or they list some of the base census operations. And the CFLs, they will be working from home. So those are at-home positions that we'll hire for. The other positions that work from home are your enumerators and listers, which we need thousands and thousands of people to do that. And that enumerators and listers will be part of our address canvassing, other update address listing operations, and they're the ones that are going to be knocking on the doors, coming to you, verifying addresses, or following up to make sure you complete your census form. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the process itself, the recruited assessment system that we have. The new 2020 census have an online job application and assessment system. It allows interested applicants to complete both their application and assessment, and it takes approximately about 10 to 15 minutes for you to go online to apply. Now, there is an assessment called the Situational Judgment Assessment Questionnaire Process, and it will take you through a series of questions which will focus on your life and work experience, your personal preferences, and the values and beliefs. We want to drive everyone to the website. The website is 2020census.gov/job site. We put some of that information on the table. It has the website on there. Please feel free to go on there and to apply for the positions that are available. This is what the website looked like when you go online, when you apply for the positions. So ways to support the community. You can post information about the 2020 census. We're asking Councilman if you could actually post the website onto your social media and promote the census as well. The link is there. All applicants and staff, we're asking to make sure that the online application process is available to you. We've partnered with the city. They are promoting the website on their pages as well. Advertising for the census jobs at your local public assessment, public access channels and radio stations, local newspaper. We're really getting them involved in that. So with that said, that's how you apply for the census jobs. The website is there, www.census.gov 2020 census as well. And also on the flyers that you have on the table, you can apply for those positions. That's pretty much in a nutshell of the operation and as well as positions that will be available. Any questions at this point?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Where is the location of the office, Chicago Region Office for Michigan and Indiana? Is it in local jurisdiction?
Well, the regional census center is in Chicago, but we have an area census office in the city of Detroit. Okay?
Is it functioning as an active open office now?
It's functioning as an office. It's not open to the public right now. Yes. Yeah.
Ms. Kovar's email address?
Is it there? KOVARIV@DetroitMI.gov. It should be on that sheet there.
Find it on the resource page. Reg, can you take my mic up a little bit?
Let's go to Dawn and then here.
Yes.
No, we'll go here first. Up.
Sorry.
Vicky, I got it.
I didn't see it.
Thank you. I'd like to know when you start going door to door, are the people who are going to be contacting people door to door, the front porch, are there going to be badges identifying them and photo identification so we don't run into problems with some unscrupulous people maybe using this as a cover for?
Yes, we'll be promoting what the ID will look like. I don't have a copy of that yet. They're still putting that together. They will not have a picture on there, but it will have an actual identification that gives their name, address, not name, but name and phone number that you can contact. That's an 800 number that you can determine if they are a reputable census employee. But they will have identification in their possession.
Got one over here.
So 2 questions. One, Vicky, you said April, wherever you're living at, April 1st.
Yes.
So my daughter is at U of M, and she'll be home May 1st. How does that work?
So all college students are counted where they are April 1st, which will be at the university that they are.
That's not good.
Well, the college students are one of the most overcounted people in the census because parents count them in their home and they count them in their dorms. So just do what you gotta do, Dawn.
She knows how to do that well. Got one over here.
Hi, I'm considering maybe walking door to door, but like on my block, I have 2 houses that's like halfway houses. Now, how can we get them to register?
A lot of the halfway houses, they're part of our group quarter enumeration. The group quarter enumeration starts in March of 2020, and we reach out to those type of transit or housing units, and we do a separate enumeration with them.
So with that, all of our census captains are going to be going out in the fall to look for all of those kinds of places. There's some places, I just was in D1 a few months ago, and there was a place where they do rehab. It looks just like an apartment building. I had no idea of all the years I've lived in Detroit, and I grew up just on near Telegraph and 6 Mile. But I never ever knew that was a place. But that's an example of a kind of a group quarter that if you live in that neighborhood, you know what it is. You know where the adult foster care homes, the Census Bureau doesn't necessarily know. So we're going to be doing our own survey and then giving that information to the Census Bureau about where those places are. So when they start to count them, they go to the right places.
We got one right here.
Do you have any more flyers? Flyers about census? I don't have one. There's none up here. Yes, we have some more information in back.
I'm sorry to cut in front of you, but got me running today.
I've been co-hosting recently a talk show on television, and I'd like to have, I got contact information, and I'd like to have you all come to the show to share the information.
Absolutely. Be delighted to come. Just you can call, just email me and just let me know some times, and I'll be happy to be there.
One right here.
The last census that happened, actually, for the job applicants, I know there was testing. Is that also going to be available on the website? Do they have to go through the testing process?
There is no testing process.
Okay, there was the last time.
Right, there was. Okay. So when they go online, the judgmental situational questions, those are the things that will identify what positions they qualify for.
Okay.
All right. We got one here. Albert?
Okay, what about the returning citizens and homeless people? Are they coming too?
Yes, they are. We will be going out to where homeless people migrate to, and we will set up, we're going to call it a transient night, and wherever they are on that particular night that we go, which starts in March, we'll be counting homeless.
Absolutely.
We don't want to exclude anyone. We want to count everyone once where they are and make sure that we do an accurate and complete count.
Even if you're incarcerated for a longer period of time than just a few days or a week, you will be counted where you're incarcerated. That's just the way they do it. So everybody's going to be there.
Okay. Let me see how we're going to make this happen.
Mine is not a question, but just a suggestion. I noticed in District 2, I represent my mother's neighborhood, and we have a block club, a very active block club. But some of the young men and young women are sort of living off the grid, as Ms. Victoria Kovari brought up earlier. They may be on probation. They may have child custody situations, so they want to lay low. I'm thinking with the census, it may have to be emphasized that you're not going to be deported, you're not going to be forced to go back to court to deal with child custody orders. And I think that may be a challenge there, and working as a census worker, just convincing people that we're not going to get into your personal information, we're not going to report you or deport you. So I'm hoping that can be emphasized as census workers.
You're exactly right, and that's one of the things we do, and part of the training for the enumerators. Confidentiality is a very key important component of what we do. All your personal information is not distributed. It's only statistical data. And so we don't release any personal information, and that's, I'm bound by confidentiality. If I was to release any of that information, I will go to jail. In prison. I have 2 kids, so I can't afford to do that.
All right. Y'all give it up for Victoria Kovari as well as Bridgette Wyche-McGee. Thank you so much. Giving us information on the census. You all excited about this census? All right. So we know what we need to do. This is our obligation, our opportunity is what we should call it, really. So coming up next, we're going to deviate a little bit from the agenda. Chris, let me have that. We're going to deviate a little bit from the agenda. We're going to bring forward our Girl Scouts. How many of you are familiar with the Girl Scouts? This is our D1 Youth Spotlight, and for those of you who are not familiar with the D1 meeting, we have this every month. We always take the time to highlight a young person or young people who are doing phenomenal things. They don't always have to be straight A students. They don't always have to be the kid with all the scholarships, the athletic scholarships. These are just kids who are doing good things in our community, and many times you don't see them unless you're in their general vicinity. So we want to make sure that those who are in our general vicinity see these young ladies. You're familiar with the Girl Scouts, right? Yes. Girl Scouts 107 years old this month, as a matter of fact. This month. And so that's significant, but many times when you see in popular culture, you see Caucasian Girl Scouts. But what many of you don't know is that in 1917 was the very first black troop. And so there have been African American Girl Scouts, 102 of those 107 years. You didn't know that, did you? Some of the famous African American Girl Scouts: Venus Williams, Condoleezza Rice, Queen Latifah, I didn't know that one. Dionne Warwick, all right? So we also have some other phenomenal young ladies who are here today. And who's going to join us? Yeah, just turn. We're also going to have some phenomenal young ladies who are coming before us today. And we have, let me make sure I get the troop number correct. This is troop number 42197. Is that right? That's not right? 42197 or something? 41, yes, okay, so see, I messed up. So without further ado, I'll have, what's your name? Tasha Johnson. We're going to have Tasha Johnson come and say a few words about the Girl Scouts and the troop who lives right here in District 1. Ms. Tasha Johnson.
Hi, hello everyone. Good morning. So our Roseville Park troop, we have a combination of young ladies ranging from daisies up to the senior level, ambassador level. And so our troop is really vast. We have quite a few young ladies that have done quite a few things. We have Ariel. She's one of the few individuals in our troop, and actually in the state of Michigan, that is representing the Detroit area for Mackinac Island. So we don't have that many young ladies of color, but Ariel is one of those individuals. So she represents our organization for the whole state of Michigan up in Mackinac Island. So Mackinac Island. And we also have, we have Kennedy Johnson. She's part of our troop as well. She goes to Cass Tech, and she's very active. So I'm going to actually have Kennedy come up and say a few things about some of the things that the troop is doing and some of the activities that has happened. So come on over here. So,
I want everybody to see you. They can't see you.
So Kennedy. So they want to introduce. I'm going to step aside because one thing about Girl Scouts is we teach them to be leaders. So they have actually they know what they want to do.
My name is Lindsay Johnson. I go to Bates Academy, and I've been a Girl Scout for 8 years.
My name is Ariel Blakey. I go to Mercy High School. I've been a Girl Scout for 13 years. 10 years, my bad.
My name is Mariah Kent, and I go to Cass Technical High School, and I've been a Girl Scout for 10 years. Hi, my name is Kennedy Johnson. I go to Cass Tech High School, and I've been a Girl Scout for 11 years. A little bit about the Girl Scouts in Rosedale Park. I have been with them for 9 years, and we have been on multiple different year-end trips and done many community service in our community. We planted trees around Rosedale Park. We've decorated for the nursing homes, and we've even decorated outside of Rosedale Park. Many year-end trips we've been on is going to Mackinac Island, Tennessee. We do this from selling Girl Scout cookies. We raise money. I have been to many different year-end balls just from selling cookies, over 700 at a time. Wow. In our Girl Scouts, we have sold over 2,000 as a collective group, and our Girl Scout troop has ranged from about 10 people to 20 people at a time. Thank you.
You all heard great things that they say that they do with the proceeds from the Girl Scout cookies, right? So far, they've only sold 11 boxes. Is how many people in the room say that, week? 126 people in this room. Alright? We said we had 30 back in the day. But 126 people in the room. I'm just saying. Alright? It's one thing to give them hand claps and applause and say good things. It's another thing to support them in the way that they need support. Alright? So this is our opportunity. You have more to say? I'm trying to get you some sales.
One of the things that we've done with the cookies in the past is have a bake sale. So we use the cookies and put them into different recipes so that we can sell them. So we did this at Always Brewing. I used the Savannah Smiles to make lemon cupcakes. So I put them in the mix and I spread them on top. So it was really good. It was a really fun activity for us to do.
So ladies, can you tell us a little bit about what you want to do when you grow up? What is it that you want to do when you grow up? What's your profession?
Well, I play tennis, so I want to be a tennis professional, but I also want to own my own business, and being a Girl Scout has helped me through that, I guess, like selling Girl Scout cookies and Lemonade Day, where we like make lemonade and sell it to the community. And my business is like skin, so yeah. Well, it's called my soft skin, and it helps. Oh, and I make body mist, shea butter, chapsticks, sugar stuff.
So we may have her back here for another D1 meeting.
Shout that Instagram out.
When I grow up, I want to be an entrepreneur, and I also want to be a chemist, and I want to have my own hair product line. And I also want to get my cosmetology license when I'm in high school.
When I grew up, I want to do something in performing arts, and I would also like to be an occupational therapist.
When I grow up, I would like to be an anesthesiologist or an entrepreneur, to be a CEO of a company.
So as you see, they are very ambitious individuals, and I know we have a lot of these particular professions out here in the audience. What we always like to do is take time to give some words of encouragement for our young folks. So anyone have anything you want to say to our young ladies today? First, give them a word of encouragement, then ask.
I see Cass Tech is doing some tremendous things, and our kudos goes out to Cass Tech. I want you ladies to know you can be anything and do anything you want to do. Always stay around positive people. And if you're the smartest one in your circle, get another circle. But you can do it. You can do it. I also want to know, how can I get your chapstick, your lipstick, or your skincare? Do you have a website? And also put me down for 3 boxes of cookies. If you have cookies today, I will purchase 3 boxes because you're so pretty. I can't help but to buy Girl Scout cookies. So you're some beautiful girl. So how can I get your chapstick?
I can give you my email or my mom's number. I think we have a card.
Okay. We're all waiting. Do you have it now, or you just...
Oh, no, I don't have... Oh, I think my mom has my card now.
They'll be back in the back when you go get those cookies.
Yes, I'd like to know from each one of you which pin or badge that you have accomplished are you most proud of.
Okay. This is my favorite pin because this is the Mackinac Island pin, and I go every summer. So every year we go, you get a new flag, and there's up to 6 years. So this is for the first year, and this is for the second year. So I'm a 3rd year now. When I go up, I'm gonna get another flag.
My favorite patch, you can't see it because it's on the back, but it's a Thanksgiving Day parade. I've been in Thanksgiving Day Parade for Girl Scouts for 2 years, and it's a really fun experience to be on TV and just get to meet the different Girl Scouts.
I don't have my sass with me today, but my favorite badge is the entrepreneurship one from Small Business Saturday.
My favorite badge is my arts and craft badge because I like making like new things.
We have one over here for you.
I'd like to thank the extraordinary women who support this group. Yes. I have watched you many years and I am so impressed by you.
We got one more, actually two more.
Yeah, my wife's an occupational therapist, and it's a very, very lucrative profession. And the thing is, it's a somewhat a rigorous profession too. But you know what? The only one that stops you from going the way you want to go is you. And as the adage says, very little good comes easy. But you know where you want to go, and you just keep your eye on the prize.
Thank you.
And last but certainly not least,
you 401 young ladies are absolutely phenomenal. And we also should thank your parents because I know they're proud. Yeah.
Keep it up, great job, ladies. And we never allow our young folks to leave here empty-handed, so we would like to present awards of recognition to Lindsey Johnson, Mariah Kent, Kennedy Johnson, and Ariel Blakely, I'm sorry. Everybody hold up one finger, please. Just one. Thank you very much. Thank you. One. Thank you. All right. Now give it up for the Great job. Don't forget 126 people in the room. Okay, and they take cash. That's right. Let me see. They take cash out. They take credit cards, cash out, and cash, just in case. Coming up next on the agenda, many of you know we have an initiative in District 1, a D1 CAN, and that's our our gun violence prevention initiative. It's headed by Daniela Bourne, y'all. That's Daniela right there. And we've had a number of forums, a number of engagements out in the community, but we always say that we can't do this by ourselves. It's actually D1 CAN stands for D1 Community Accountability Network. So there's other individuals who are out here doing this work, and we have to recognize them and make sure that we work collaboratively to ensure that we have as much strength behind the effort of reducing violence as a whole and dealing with the issue of trauma. It has a huge effect on people's lives, especially childhood trauma. And so before we begin, I'm going to bring up Dawn, but not just yet. Before we bring up Dawn, I want to show you this video that you don't do the video yet?
The video is after.
Oh, okay. I told you Dawn know what she's doing. So we're going to bring up Dawn Wilson-Clark with 482 Forward, and she's going to tell you about an initiative that is going on in a D1 community and how you all can help address this issue of trauma, especially childhood trauma and effects of it in our community. Dawn Wilson-Clark, y'all.
Good morning, D1. Good morning. My name is Dawn Wilson-Clark. I am a proud mother of 7. 5 came through me and 2 came to me. I am also a resident of Brightmoor. Have been living in the Brightmoor community for since year 2000. I was born and raised in Detroit and Pontiac. I graduated from Redford High School in 1989. I went, go Huskies. Our school graduated to a Myers, woo woo. So we, so I did, and so I'm a professional clown too. I've been a clown for over 25 years. Cuddles. Cuddles the clown. So how many of you all, did you all see the parents that marched to Lansing a few years ago on the news? Show of hands. Okay, so that's the organization I work with now. 482 Forward. We are a education organizing nonprofit. And how we work is we have network committees and action teams throughout the city. So we're citywide, and our purpose is to address injustice, right? So how we do that work is we listen to the community to find out what the biggest barrier to education is. After we hear what that is, we do some research, and then we create a plan to try to tackle that problem. So the first campaign we ran in BEAT stands for the Brightmoor Education Action Team, was an attendance initiative under President Brightmoor. That was a few years ago, and as a result of that, the entire city is looking at attendance, and it all started in D1. Y'all give it up for that. So our second campaign, what we heard was our biggest barrier was trauma. And so in our research, we found that we have our very own trauma expert who lives in District 1, and that is Mary Mueller. Y'all give it up for Miss Mary. So we sat and we talked to Mary, and we asked Mary to help us with this. And so what we decided to do was to reach out to the schools in our community. We asked those leaders in our schools to meet with us, to learn about trauma, and then to create a plan to address the trauma. We've been meeting. We had 3 meetings so far. We have 1 meeting coming up on Tuesday, and then in May, we're going to host an event called the Best of Brightmoor to present the plan. We'll let you all know when that is. But so during our initial research, we heard about ACEs. Anybody heard about ACEs before? Adverse Childhood Experiences. And so now, Councilman Tate, we are ready for the video. So take a moment, watch this video, and then we'll be back.
My parents don't understand. All the drinking and fighting means I'm scared. I'd like a cuddle, perhaps a bedtime story, but mostly I'd like them to stop shouting at me. And sometimes they hit me. Feeling scared every day and not feeling loved or wanted will change me for the rest of my life. Later, I'll have problems at school, problems with alcohol, and I'll get in trouble with the police. What's happening to me right now means I'm more likely to have serious health problems in middle age and die sooner than I should. Doctors say my life is full of adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs. But in my world, this means I see my dad hitting my mum. Dad's got a drinking problem, and mum's always crying, even with the tablets. I'm always being shouted at and hit. After the booze and fags, there's not a lot of money for toys or clothes, or even food. I'm getting used to being scared all the time, now I'm just angry. The doctors say things are changing inside me. My brain isn't learning how to control my feelings properly. My body can't react like those kids who don't have ACEs, so my body won't be able to repair itself properly when I get older, making it more likely I'll get cancer or heart disease as an adult. It hurts when my parents hit me, but the real damage is hidden, and that damage will be with me for life.
I drink and smoke. They say I'm out of control, but I'm not. It's just my way of coping with my ACEs. I've been in plenty of fights, but what's wrong with that? Kids' punches don't hurt half as much as when my dad hits me. I beat up a kid last week at school because he looked at me weird. Who cares? I ended up with more time out of school. Learning's not for me anyway, and the teachers don't care any more than my parents. I don't like the way anyone looks at me except my girl. She's 16 and pregnant, just like my mum was with me.
So this is where I've ended up. I've got diabetes and cancer's probably on the way. I know these kill you, but I could do without them. I've never had a proper job and I've spent time inside. I hate my kids. I hate their mum too, until she left, so my kids have grown up with ACEs. And now my daughter had her first kid. She's 16. The course of my life was set in the wrong direction a long time ago. I know where I'm heading, and sadly I know where my kids are heading too. This doesn't have to happen. A little help in childhood makes a big difference to where life takes you. When I was a baby, the nurses noticed that my mum wasn't coping and helped her and explained how important my childhood is to the rest of my life. So, with a bit of help, she coped. The police came round after next door complained about the noise from mum and dad fighting. They asked how I was feeling. I told them I was scared all the time. Mum and dad got help. The shouting got better and the hitting stopped. I even got some bedtime stories. I still had problems at school, but the teacher asked me about what was happening at home. I got help controlling my feelings. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough. I'm now married with 2 children, and I've got a job, most of the time. I haven't repeated the same problems with my kids. We got help when being a parent got too much. Our children are ACE-free, and that means their kids stand a good chance of growing up ACE-free as well. Almost half the people in England and Wales experienced one ACE as a child, and 1 in 10 of us suffered 4 or more ACEs. If we stop ACEs, millions of children would not become smokers or binge drinkers, and levels of violence in adults would be cut in half. Fewer ACEs in childhood also means fewer adults developing diseases like cancer, heart disease and diabetes in middle age. We all need to be ACE aware. Are you? Doctors, police, nurses, teachers, firefighters and most importantly parents. The more you know about ACEs, the more you can help stop children growing up with ACEs in their lives. And for those of you who have already suffered ACEs, the more you know, the more you can help yourself and others who have suffered ACEs cope.
So, we all have ACEs. We have a ACE questionnaire, and we want you all to take that not right now. We want you to take it later, and we want you to think about the things that you experienced as a child. And imagine what our children are experiencing now. We know that it takes people and resources to deal with that. So not only are we working on trauma in Brightmoor, but as an entire collective with 482 Forward, we're working on increasing funding. We need counselors. We need therapists. We need help in our schools. So you all have, do we have the flyers, Daniela? Does everybody have one of these? No. Okay, so we're going to pass these out. This is explaining who we are, and on the back, an opportunity for you to connect with the Brightmoor Education Action Team. We meet the last Tuesday of every month, usually at City Covenant Church, which is on Schoolcraft and Stout. This Tuesday will be at Leland from 5:30 to 7:30. Yes, ma'am. Leland Missionary Baptist Church on Finco and Lamphere. Also on Monday, the 25th at Martin Luther King High School, Babies Over Billionaires is hosting an event. That is our network campaign to increase funding by 2020. It's a town hall about school funding. Our very own Sherry Gay Daniego will be on the panel along with David Arson. He is a professor from the Michigan State University. Terrence Martin, the president for the Detroit Federation of Teachers, and also a student activist who will be talking about their experiences. Also on the back, do you know who's securing our schools? Do you all know that we are one of, I believe, 4 cities that has a public school police department? One of 4. Well, the chief will be in the building. Also, a lawyer from 2 lawyers from ALCU and a lawyer from the Advancement Project to get a better understanding on who is securing our schools and what does that look like. So that's on Thursday, March 28th at Next Energy. It's right across the street from Tech Town, if you guys know where that is. Also, if you wanted to connect with me, my number is on the end of this sheet, and I would love to talk to you more about getting involved with our work. Thank you, Mary. The survey, Daniela, she's passing out the surveys. So we would love for you to fill out that survey, because that's what we're doing now. We're collecting the data to hear more about the trauma that we're experiencing in our schools. We'll have all of those surveys collected by April 9th, and we'll be able to see what type of trauma that we're experiencing. But a preliminary view of the surveys, one of the children that filled it out said, I just need a room to scream in. Just let that sink in. All right, so if you want to connect, reach out to me. Pray for Brightmoor.
Any questions at all? Yeah, give it a round of applause.
ACEs stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences.
Any questions? Any questions? Flyers will come. Just raise your hand. We need some flyers over here. Make sure everyone gets flyers. Any questions? All right. Rich?
John, tell him where to put the
Dawn, you and Mary, I'd like to tie in with Dr. Mitchell. Dr. Mitchell, who's in the Resource Center, and she deals with class, changing lives, and staying sober. And then the action program, which I'm on the coalition, which is for the prevention of marijuana and opiate abuse. But I think it would be a good meeting between the two of you.
Tom, you have my cell phone number.
Got it.
Call me. We're going to do that, all right? All right.
All right, y'all give it up for Dawn Wilson Clark.
I'm sorry, Mary had one more thing.
Where do you want people to give you the survey?
You can give me the surveys or give the surveys to Daniela. But I need y'all to fill them out, please. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, and we're gonna fight this thing. We're not just gonna fight it. We're gonna overcome it.
That's right.
We're gonna overcome it because there's no way that we can have this many people with this large of an issue and these many people who are working on it, and we don't accomplish anything.
That's right.
And if we don't accomplish anything, that just means that we're not working hard enough. So we just got to do a little bit more, y'all. All right? So next up on the agenda is another favorite part of the D1 meeting that I love, is when we start to show love to our small businesses within District 1. And so today we have a very special guest, location, building, business, at the corner of Lasser and Grand River. How many of you have heard of Old Redford Kitchen and Cafe and Teaspoon? Woo! I know I have. They see me often. The po' boys are phenomenal. And so the cool thing about them is they have a very diverse menu. Typically you have a restaurant that has this type of menu or that one. They have it all.
All right.
No matter whether you're talking about Chinese or you're talking about, what else you have? American, soul, you name it, they have it all, and all of it is good. And so before I bring Miss Sarah up, we're going to show you a little video that Reggie put together to give you a preview about the business.
Hi, welcome to Old Redford Kitchen Cafe. Have you had any of our breakfast specials yet? So good.
I love this area. I love the community. The people are wonderful and amazing, and I wanted to be a part of this here community. And that was my inspiration on opening this Old Redford Kitchen Cafe and Teaspoon. I purchased this building from John George in 2013. I've been looking at this building for a while, and I finally got a chance to speak to him about it, and he was kind. He gave me a dollar amount, and I was pleased. I had to put a new roof on this building. I demolished the inside, and the community helps so much. I asked tenants if they knew people who were interested in working, and the 5 people that I asked came to 15, 20, 30, some days we had 40, 50 people helping clean out, tear down walls, and help put things back together. So this community is amazing. Amazing, I tell you. I call it my international menu, really, because we try to do a little Mexican, Chinese, we do Mediterranean, we do vegetarian, we do vegan, my breakfast special, and with that breakfast special, you get 2 meats, 2 eggs, 2 breads, either 2 pancakes or 2 French toasts, or wheat or rye on croissant, and the number 1, you get an extra order like the hash browns, grits, or oatmeal. And we use real potatoes. We don't use processed. Processed food is not one of my favorite items on my list. Wow, the community. How could I say best? The community is here all the time. They support this restaurant. I tell you, when you have a good community and you're kind to your community, they will continue to support you.
I've been coming here maybe about a year. I've only come like 4 times, so it's like a treat for myself. The ambiance is really great, the service is great, and the food is delicious. And one time I came to visit and she cut my pancakes up, and it just made me fall in love. I just love the place. Back here, we are showing both names of the restaurant, Old Redford Kitchen Cafe, as well as Teaspoons. Here, we'll have some outdoor seating. We're going to have some awnings put up. And I want you to see that door there. It's an antique door. It used to belong to one of the restaurants here in Detroit. And I was able to get that door through auction. And I did tell you, Teaspoons is where I'm going to have soft-served ice cream and different teas from around the world. And hopefully some new pastries brought in as well. And when I walk in, sometimes I have customers that are out in the car waiting to get in here. And it makes me feel good. It makes me know that I'm doing something right. And when I see that the staff is here, they're happy. And happy staff, happy business. If my customers are not happy, no one's happy. So
come on down to Old Redford Kitchen Cafe so you can see what we have cooking.
So without further ado, Ms. Tariq, if you come
down to Old
forward,
Redford Kitchen Cafe so you can see what we have cooking.
That's called a leftover. So what's so real cool about this location, as you heard, it was actually a closed building. And so now here it is, open, revitalized, and then no matter what survey that we put out in District 1, one of the main things people talk about, the number one thing is a sit-down restaurant. And so here we are, we have one right here in our neighborhood. It started out as takeout. That wasn't good enough for Miss Sarah. Miss Sarah said, no, we got to do more for this community. And now you see that other side that has been now transforming. Wait till you see what it looks like moving forward. And so we have Snow here with us as well. Miss Sarah, let me give you this mic here.
Hi, everyone.
All right. So thank you for Old Redford Kitchen Cafe and Teaspoon.
See what we did? Girl Scouts?
Entrepreneur. So now, the other thing is, so as you see, she opened it up in 2015. And right now, you're seeing a whole lot of activity along Grand River. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes with planning and development. We're doing a whole new streetscape along Grand River. Many of you, I know you've heard about it. And I tell people all the time, now is the time to get that property. Because once we're done, you're going to come and snap it right up. But she did it before we even started talking about it. So she invested before, and she had the vision to do this before even the city of Detroit and the state of Michigan. So we want to thank you for that. My question is, why'd you choose that location? Out of all the places in Detroit or Metro Detroit, America, why did you choose that corner, Losser and Grand River?
You know, I own an apartment building and I own homes in that area. So just being there, I know there was a lot of people there in business. You have to be good. There's a lot of people, right? And then there was Java House and Sweet Potato Sensation and Old Redford. So what can you go wrong? People are there, right? So that's what happened, and here we are.
So in terms of your menu, very diverse menu. Like I said before, a lot of places choose one type of food, one type of genre, if you will. What made you say, I'm going global?
Well, first of all, halal. It's hard to find halal food, tacos and things like that. And I travel. I go to India, Pakistan every year. I go to Morocco, is where I'm supposed to be right now. And so I travel to China. I go to all those places. As long as you have green money, they'll let you in the kitchen. It's not FDA approved. So that's how I got to learn a lot of different dishes. You know, both Indian, Pakistan, and then just Asian and Mediterranean. Yeah, as well. Yeah.
So your team that works with you, we saw them, they're awesome. I know them very well. How did you pick your team, and did your team pick you? How did you choose them? How did you guys come together?
I closed my eyes and just picked. No, I was told about where Cash has been working for me for over 11 years. I have maybe 8 people on staff all the time since '97 when I purchased business here. And the other people I was told about, and I talked with them, and they're there. Okay. They're Old Redford.
All right. So now I see we have teaspoon on the side, and I think that's like you putting it out there. I don't know if it's necessarily tea shop just yet, but if you can talk to us a little bit about what your vision is for Teaspoon.
teaspoon I stole from Paris. It was a little teaspoon there. So, you know, you had the pink coffees, the chai teas and all that, which I learned how to do anyway in Pakistan and India. So I thought, let me bring that to the community. I mean, everyone's doing it, right?
It's the best, you guys. It is so good.
Do you like it? Of course.
You know that first person
Yes,
you saw on the video? That's her right there.
No.
So,
Yeah.
last question for me, and then we're going to open it up for folks out here. Hours of operation. What time do you open? What time do you close?
Oh, that's a no-no. Okay, we open at 8. When I first opened, it was 8 to 9. Then when we started its renovation, the city of Detroit is strict about dust. So we started closing at 6. The contractors started coming in. And we're still like tagging in on that because here's someone to come. And so we're hoping within the next 2 to 3 weeks, we go back to our 9 o'clock, 8 to 9. And 7 days a week. Yeah, the whole 7 days a week, 5 to 9. I mean, 8 to 9.
We got one over here for you.
I was trying to add a week. I did. What was that?
Hello, I'm just giving you kudos. Parents were entrepreneurs who started with restaurants and then they ended up having schools and different things. They did a lot of things in the community in Michigan, not in Detroit, but Detroit was based on mom and pop shops. And we need to get back to that. We need to wake up Detroit to their dreams and have everybody to live them. So I'm looking at you because I want to sit down restaurant too.
All right. Everything, you can do anything. You can do anything. You know, just like I was listening to the Girl Scouts. I was a brownie, then I was a Girl Scout, and we can do anything.
So, Miss Sarah, what did you want to do when you were around their age? What was your profession that you wanted to do? Because many of us never follow that path.
Well, you know, this can go on all day. But you know, only because my father went to school to be an ophthalmologist, but it didn't happen. He became an accountant and a businessman. So I knew that was definitely going to be a goal for me to do something like that. And I wanted to own a doll shop. I wanted to own this, that. And all those things could happen. But the restaurant was where I went ahead and went for it.
I think it was clear you wanted to be an entrepreneur. You wanted to own your own stuff, though.
Yeah.
All right.
And although my staff get upset with me sometimes, they go, "Forget it, Martha Stewart. We're out of here." We fight too sometimes, you know.
It's all out of love. You got another one over here for you?
Yes, do you do catering?
We do. We do some catering, yes.
We got one last one for you, Miss Sarah. Let me see.
What is your seating capacity?
Right now we're looking at 50. We can push in 70 if you don't mind getting to know someone. But for sure, yeah.
Miss Sarah Tariq, y'all. Redford Kitchen Cafe and Teaspoon. Anything else you want to tell folks before you get out of here?
Guys, come out and visit us.
Hold your mic up.
Just come out and visit. If you want to say hi, just come out. We're family. Yeah. What's that? Thank you. We welcome you.
I think Snow wanted to say a couple of words.
Hi everybody, I'm Snow from Old Redford Kitchen Cafe. This is my godmom. I just want to say to you guys, she has a very beautiful spot. If you wanted to just have a cup of tea or coffee, her ginger tea, let me tell y'all, I'm a survivor of cancer. Her ginger tea, I had my spleen removed and the tail of my pancreas, and I'm healing it from my liver. But her ginger tea, she'll be having a water machine that she'll be doing the alkaline water and things, and the navy bean soup. Even just getting, like, say you guys, we're gonna have a community wall. The things that you guys want to come post, you can come drop it off, post it. It's so many people in the community that comes and sit down to eat, and really the saying that was on the wall is coming strangers, leave as friends. I'm telling y'all, by the time you leave out of there, you're going to know somebody and you're going to return every day. And you're going to try to because it's such a safe haven and it's such a peace. So they have, I want to say, they have 3 breakfast specials. You get 2 meats, 2, and it's no pork cooked at all. We all for the health. You get 2 meats, 2 breads, and the toast. No, but we got bacon, beef bacon or turkey bacon, but no pork, no swine for your mind. And then if you want, sometimes say you guys going to work for our officers, she does like $1 discount or a discount for some of you guys. And some days, if you get good with her, you might can get you a tab. You understand what I'm saying? Come back, pay another day. So when you guys think about that, or you know she got shawarmas, like, you know, we have Bucharest here. She got shawarmas there. She has the salmon croquette.
Oh my.
The salmon croquette, the grits, the rice, and all the potatoes are home fries. That means real potatoes, not the stuff with the MSG on them. And I just want to say, when you guys are, I'm not gonna hold you too long, but when you, it's on my mind to tell y'all because I'm 33 years old and this happened to me when I was 28. When you guys are buying food, read the packages, MSG, Red 40, all these things. If you don't know what it is, look it up. And it's steroids. So like your kids are getting a hold to the Takis. I know that everybody like them. Sometimes keep it to a minimum. Come visit Mama. Follow us on social media at Old Redford Kitchen and Cafe on Instagram. Thank you.
That's right. That's right.
And congratulations to everybody. I just want to say to keep up the good work and give a round of applause for Mr. Tate and the cameraman.
You know, I'm sorry. One last thing to say before you leave. One last thing. I remember when we sat, when I sat in. Hold this one. I'm gonna give you that mic. So I remember I came over. You told me about the door.
The door, yeah.
Tell us about the door, because that's not just any door. She just said it was a little door from a restaurant. We kind of walked right by. Tell us what you had to go through for that door, and tell us the significance of that door.
Okay. There was a restaurant called Shantiki. I don't know. Well,
Now you get it.
There was an auction, and there was about 5 or 6 of us, and I was able to get the door. So it said online, I guess many people have pulled on this door: Muhammad Ali, Diana Ross, Barbara Streisand, quite a few names on the computer. Well, I guess the DNA is still there. Some of the old equipment is on it. So come out, and when we get that door open, come and look at it. Come on.
That's right. Put some more DNA on that door.
Okay.
I'm done about mine.
What's up?
All right.
But anyway, thank you guys so much.
Sarah, to me, thank you so much. All right, so there we are. We got some stuff going on in D1, y'all. So there's a lot of things going on. Reg, can you get that for me? A lot of things happening in D1. Many times we hear people's common phraseology is that nothing's going on in the neighborhoods. Everything's happening downtown. And I will say there's a lot happening in downtown. A whole lot happening in downtown. And honestly, if I was a millionaire and I didn't live in the city of Detroit, didn't come from the city, I'd probably put my money in downtown as well. But there's a lot of stuff that's happening in the neighborhoods that the city of Detroit is actually initiating. And today I wanted to make sure that you all had an understanding of what actually is taking place. We're talking $30 million collectively, potentially even more in projects that are happening in District 1 that are going to kick off this year. And so without further ado, I'm going to bring Dave Walker up front and also Michele Flournoy from the planning department, city's plan. Y'all give it up, D1, y'all too quiet. Y'all ain't living out at Old Redford Kitchen Cafe yet. So they're going to give you a brief overview of the different initiatives, projects rather, that are happening in District 1. Again, $30 million collectively, potentially even more, that's happening right here in District 1, and not just in one neighborhood either. Dave?
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Can everybody hear me okay? This is on. Okay.
There we go. Okay, I'm a big dude, so I talk loud, just so everybody knows. Okay. Once again, my name is Dave Walker. I represent the City of Detroit's Planning and Development Department.
this is Michele Flournoy. I work for Dave. I'm the District 1 member of the West Team Planning Department.
The other one, Bob.
So one of the things we wanted to tell you is this is part of what the mayor calls the Strategic Neighborhood Fund, and this is part of a framework strategy plan initiative. As part of this process, we've chosen 10 specific neighborhoods based on a number of different factors, but it's really the amount of people who have stayed and committed to a neighborhood. We wanted to go there and help facilitate those existing residents, make their neighborhood more beautiful, more safe, and more economically viable for more entrepreneurs and more businesses. So that's ultimately our goal. So one of the neighborhoods we chose was this whole District 1 area called Grand River Northwest. And in that process, we've had a number of neighborhood meetings. We started almost a year and a half ago. We've had some focus group meetings. We've had some open houses, and we have some interactive breakouts. So over a year, last year, we did that planning process, and we probably interacted with over 1,000 residents in that process. So as you can see, 4 public engagement strategies. Our first one kicked off at Artist Village almost a year ago. We've had a number of different focus groups with different types of entities to talk about open space, economic development, streetscape and mobility, and all those different, and housing. And so here you can see the boundary. So we go from Telegraph all the way down to 96, all the way up to 7 Mile, all the way over to Southfield Freeway, taking in different sections to define our boundary. And what we've done is we created what's called the Grand River Northwest Plan with your input over the last year. That is on the website. And that website is www.detroitmi.gov/Northwest. 120-page book that includes a number of statements that the residents told us, and also the different initiatives that we are about to put underway using some of that money that we've been raising as part of the Strategic Neighborhood Fund. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. So once again, as Councilman Tate has told everyone, there's a lot of things happening in downtown. But the only purpose, well, the main purpose for us in the planning department is invigorating and revitalizing our neighborhoods. So that's why we're out here. We spend almost 60 hours a week, if not more sometimes, making sure that our neighborhoods get developed. Because I am the district design director for districts 1, 2, and 7, I actually have 5 plans underway. Livernois McNichols, I've got Russell Woods and Arden Park, I'm currently doing Warrendale Cody Rouge, and this one is called Grand River Northwest. And Michelle is my project manager for this specific area. And we're going to talk about the projects that after we've done the plan, now we're about to start to spend some money. And that's what we're going to talk about. So here, what I was telling you, you see all the different ones. I'm responsible for all the stuff from Woodward West and Livernois McNichols, a lot of stuff happening at Avenue of Fashion, the Fitzgerald neighborhood, very interesting. Russell Woods and Arden Park, we're finishing that up in the next 2 months. We've got some exciting things to talk about in regards to the Oakland Historic District, Russell Woods, as well as Arden Park. And then Northwest Grand River, and the one that we just kicked off 2 months ago is the Warrendale Cody Rouge one, which is right down here at the bottom. But we're going to talk, because we're in District 1, only about Northwest Grand River. Okay, so obviously the Strategic Neighborhood Fund and all those neighborhoods that you saw is a fundraising effort that the mayor's got underway with both philanthropy, federal, state, all these different entities to raise $130 million for all those 10 neighborhoods. So what's that mean? That means taking that dollars and putting it into single-family stabilization in the neighborhood, commercial corridor revitalization with a specific interest of creating more opportunities for entrepreneurs and small businesses and creating these viable, beautiful corridors. The restaurant discussion that we just heard was wonderful. We want to see 100 more examples of that every year, and we're going to do whatever we can to make that happen. So that's a great thing that you guys saw just recently. Parks, open space, very important to us to reinvigorate our parks, make them more interesting, more safe, and more fun for our youth and families. And the last thing is streetscape. How can we use the roads and the quality of that environment to make it more pedestrian friendly and to make it more economically viable for entrepreneurs to open up businesses. And so that $130 million that we're raising, a portion of it comes through what's called public dollars, like a road bond, and bonding, which is basically borrowing money. And then another piece comes from corporate partners, like a GM or a Ford or different types of entities and banks that have been donating money. And the last piece is philanthropy, using the foundation market, such as a Kresge or a Ford or other foundations to help us raise those dollars.